Hello students, I am Dr. Vimal Verma, Assistant Professor, School of Management, Behaviour University, Lucknow. In today's video lecture, we shall be learning consumer behavior. So this is the first topic in your fourth unit. So first of all, let's discuss what is the definition of consumer behavior. Consumer behavior is a study of how individuals make decisions to spend their available resources, time, money and effort or consumption related items. It is the study of individuals or organizations and the processes consumers use to search, select, use and dispose of products, services, experience or ideas to satisfy needs and its impact on consumer and society. So students, it is not only how we buy the product, but how we are going to use it, and then afterwards how we are going to dispose all those products, right? All these sequence of things combining together is known as consumer behavior. It also involves the process and activities people engage in when searching for, selecting, purchasing, using, evaluating and disposing of products and services so as to satisfy their needs and desires. The activity is directly involved in obtaining, consuming and disposing of products and services, including the decision processes that precede and follow these actions. So the study of consumer behavior deals with basic questions related to buying, such as what we buy, why we buy and how we buy. That means we need to answer all these three questions when we try to understand consumer behavior. What we buy, that means what product or services we are going to buy. Why we buy, what is the necessity behind it, why we are going to buy it, and how we buy. What are the various channels, mediums, right, using which we are going to buy it. So all these three questions are going to answer what is consumer behavior. Now let's see the definition by American Marketing Association. The American Marketing Association has defined consumer behavior as the as the dynamic interaction of cognition, behavior, and environmental events by which human beings conduct the exchange aspect of their lives. Now see another important aspect in consumer behavior, and that is what? Consumer involvement, right? So marketers develop and offer products and services, segment market and communicate to consumers accordingly, right? So in marketing, as we learn, that the aim of a marketer is to satisfy the needs and wants of the people. So in order to satisfy the needs and wants of the people, first of all, we need to identify their needs, and then we need to develop product and services, right? And then we need to communicate that we are in this business. We need to communicate with our customers. So there are various types of buying decision processes. As consumer moves from very low level of involvement with a purchase to a high level of involvement, decision making becomes increasingly complex. Buying behavior is based on degree of buyer involvement for a particular product or service. Buyer decision making varies with the type of buying decision. The buyer behavior can be classified into 4 categories based on degree of buyer's involvement. So we can say that there are certain types of involvement of the consumers, and they have been categorized. How they have been categorized? See, the first one that we are going to discuss is complex buying behavior. In this, consumer engages in complex buying behavior when they are highly involved in purchase and aware of significant differences among brands. Consumers are highly involved in a purchase when it is expensive, bought frequently and risky. So maybe there are certain types of products which are bought frequently and risky also. So in these buying these kind of product involves high I can say maybe the time, maybe the effort, right? So this will be known as complex buying behavior. See the second one, dissonance reducing buying behavior. Sometimes the consumer are highly involved but see little difference in the brands. Buyers will shop around to learn what is available but will buy fairly quickly, responding primarily to a good price or purchase convenience. So sometimes there are product people are going to just have information about them, and then after we can say having some sort of discussion or maybe some sort of analysis, they are going to buy the product. They are not going to put much effort, right? And see the next one, and that is third one, and that is habitual buying behavior. Generally, consumers have low involvement with a low cost, frequently purchased goods and services, right? These kind of goods are not very costly, right? So they have low cost, and that is why it comes under habitual buying behavior, right? So the customer is not going to involve much in that, right? Maybe we can take products like bread, like toffee and all, right? Maybe you need not to put a lot of effort in deciding, right? So it is a kind of habitual buying behavior. See the next one, and that is fourth category, variety seeking behavior. What happens in this? Here consumer does a lot of brand switching, right? So when people use this kind of behavior, consumer is going to buy through this behavior, they are going to have a lot of brand switching. That means whatever they were using earlier, they will not be using this time, right? So some buying situations are characterized by low consumer involvement but significant brand significance difference, and vice versa, right? So in variety seeking behavior, people are going to look around the variety, right? Consumer keeps on brand switching. Why? Because they are looking for the variety. Now see, what are the different factors which influences consumer behavior, right? So it has been divided into 5 parts. First one is social, another is cultural, then personal, psychological, and then marketing, right? So these are the various factors which we shall be discussing. So see, factors influencing consumer behavior, in that first of all we are going to discuss social factors. What are the various social factors which are going to influence buying behavior of a consumer or customer, right? See, the first one, that is a reference group, a small group of people such as colleagues at workplace, friends, etc. They influence values, choices of other members, expose them to new lifestyle, and create pressure to choose certain products. Example, smartwatch, right? So sometimes people are going to be influenced by the colleagues, friends and all whenever they are going to buy, right, any product like a smartwatch. And then family members influence buying decision. What includes in family? Parents influence decision of children. However, nowadays children are well informed about products and services through social media, and therefore they influence the buying decision of parents, right? So it is a two-way. That means sometimes the parents are going to influence buying decisions of children, and sometimes the children are so much informed by the social media, so they are going to influence the buying decision of parents, father and mother, right? See the next one, and that is roles and status. A person performs certain roles in a particular group in the organization. Example, person may perform the role of a director in a firm and therefore enjoys higher status. So people may purchase the products that conform to their status, especially in the case of branded clothes, cars, watches, shoes, etc. We can take one example. In India, Raymond's is a good brand. So it offers one of its range of clothing, and that is for chairman, that is for the people who are working at, you can say, top level in an organization. So the brand name or the offering is known as chairman's collection. So per meter cloth for that particular collection is 3 lakhs, right? So maybe if in order to get the suit prepared, you need to spend 12 lakhs of rupees, because you need to have 4 meters of cloth for that. So this may be the role and status, right? People are getting influenced by the role they play and the status they are having in an organization, right? See the next one, and that is very important, that is cultural factor, right? So first let's understand what is culture. The culture may be the sum total of values, systems, belief, right? Attitude, so many things are there, right? Traditions, right? So in that, religion may influence consumer behavior to a certain extent. Example, consumption of alcohol, tobacco or meat products is restricted in certain religions, right? In the subculture, each culture consists of subcultures that provide a specific identity to its members. Subculture includes nationalities, right? Like maybe Indian, Nepali, right? Uh, Thai, so many nationalities are there. Then races, right? Language, etc. So sometimes these are also going to influence buying behavior. Then we talk about social class. Human societies exhibit social stratification that may sometimes take the form of a caste system where the members share similar values, interest, and behavior, right? So in our society, we have got certain type of social setup, like there are people who are in upper class, there are people who are in middle class, and there are people who are at lower class, right? So we can take one example that Tata Nano was launched for middle class people of India, right? Obviously, it could not do. Now the company has stopped production, but it was offered to certain specific social class, right, in India. Now let's talk about another kind of factor that may influence the buying behavior, and that is what? Personal factor. So the age factor influence buying behavior. Example, teenagers may prefer trendy watches, whereas office executive may prefer formal ones, right? As we can see in the clothing as well, right? If the people are of teenage, they may go for informal clothes. But if we take the example of executives, then they may go for formal clothing. So as per the age, there is influence in the buying behavior, right? Then see the next one, and that is what? That is gender. The consumer behavior varies across gender. That means from gender to gender, it differs. Example, girls may prefer certain feminine clothes such as pink, boys may prefer blue or brown, right? So these are the colors which are preferred as per the gender. And another important thing, that is education. Highly educated persons may spend on books, personal care products than the people with low education. That means the people who are not having good education, they may not go for spending a lot of money on their personal care or books, right? On the other hand, if the people are highly qualified, they may spend a lot of amount on their books or on personal care product, right? So this is also going to influence the buying behavior. The next element of personal factor, and that is what? Income level. How much income people have, right? So normally, higher the income level, higher is the level of spending, and vice versa, right? So if the people are earning more, they are going to spend more in their maybe personal care products, or maybe the books, or maybe for traveling and all. So what kind of income level they have, accordingly they are going to spend, and that is also going to influence buying behavior, consumer behavior. And see the next element, and that is what? Status in the society. So this is also very important. What kind of a status a person has in the society? Person enjoying higher status in society spend good amount on luxury items such as luxury cars, luxury watches, premium brands of clothing, right? As we can see normally in our daily life, that if people belong to a higher society, right, a premium segment, then the kind of items they are going to use in terms of their luxury, like car, watches, and all, that has different choice. Maybe we can quote one example that Apple is not on a phone. It is a luxury. It is a status. So the people who are at the premium level in the society, who belong to a premium class, they are just going to own it. Why? Because it is going to improve their image, right? So it is going to, I can say, do something with their status, right? So it has become a status symbol instead of merely a communication device, right? See the next kind of factors, and these are very important. So the first element of these factors is the first one, learning, right? Learning is what? It takes place through information and experience, right? So we can quote an example. When customer buys a new brand of bathing soap and is satisfied with it, he is likely to be a brand loyal. That means if we are going to pick a soap, right, bathing soap, and if we find that this soap is very nice, then we are going to become brand loyal. That means we are not easily going to switch the brand because we like it and we are brand loyal for it, right? So, and why it has happened? It has happened because we had a lot of learning after using it. So learning is what? Definition: learning is any permanent change in your behavior is called as learning, right? See the next one, and that is what? Attitude. The tendency to respond in a given manner to a particular situation or object or idea. Consumers may develop a positive attitude or negative or neutral towards certain products or brands, right? Maybe after using the product, you may develop a positive attitude or negative attitude or neutral. You say nothing about it. So if you have positive attitude, then you are going to buy the product further. But if you have negative attitude, maybe you are going to have a lot of negative word of mouth, right? Marketing. So this is also very important element of the psychological factor. Now see the next one, and that is what? Motive. The inner drive that motivates a person to act or behave in a certain manner. Marketer must identify the buying motives of the target customers and influence them to respond positively. That means what is the motive behind buying the product? Why the customer is buying the product? That you need to identify well in order to influence the customer in positive way, right? Favorable way. The next element of psychological factor is perception. And that is also very important because sometimes people are going to perceive in wrong way. So it is the impression which one forms about a certain situation or objects. That means looking at something, what kind of impression one is going to form in the mind. It is called as perception. So example, a student may perceive a sports day as an important event, and therefore he or she would make every possible effort, including purchase of new footwear, jeans, etc. Whereas another student may be casual about it and therefore would not make any such extra effort, right? So the perception differs. Maybe for a casual student, a sports day is not a big day, right? But if a student, he loves, he has great interest in sport day, right? So his buying decision will be totally different. He will be perceiving that particular sport day in different manner, and he may go for buying new footwear or jeans, right? So that is how these personal factors are going to impact. Now let's see the another factor, and that is what? Marketing factors. So marketing mix are the variables greatly influencing the consumer buying behavior. And what are these? We have already learned what is marketing mix. So there are 4 basic elements: product, pricing, promotion, and place. So product, the features of the product, its uniqueness, packaging, etc. should appeal to customer. That means the marketing factor product, it is going to influence the customer in great way. Why? Because through it you are going to impress the customer by its packaging, right? The packaging should be very much appealing because it is the first impression, right? And as we know, the first impression is last impression. So if the packaging is not good, then people are not going to buy your product. They will not be attracted to buy your product, right? So this you could do in terms of product. See the next one, and that is what? Pricing. Pricing is very sensitive decision. Premium pricing strategy may appeal to upper income customers, groups, and discount pricing may appeal to price sensitive. So as we know that there are basically two type of pricing strategies. One is price penetration, another is price skimming. So in price penetration, initially we are going to offer low price for the product or service to the customer in order to get more and more market share. So we charge initially low prices for our products and services in price penetration, whereas in price skimming strategy, initially we are going to charge higher prices for our product and services. Why? Because we don't want that each and every set of customer is going to buy our product. We are going to attract certain premium customer groups to buy our product, right? So these are the two strategies which we may apply in order to influence the consumer buying behavior. The next one is promotion. Promotion greatly influences buyer choice. Why? The elements of promotion may include publicity, advertising, sales promotion, salesmanship, etc. So these are the various elements of promotion mix, and these may greatly influence the buyer choice. Why? Because maybe if you have done good advertising, informative advertising, communicative, persuasive, whatever it may be, right? So if the advertisement is very much impressive, people may be attracted to buy your product. They will be attracted to come to the channel, maybe the retailer, dealer, distributor, whatsoever it will be, and they will be buying your product. Maybe the sales promotion, if the offers are good one, maybe buy one get one. Sometimes you must have gone to various shopping malls and you would have seen different schemes like buy one get one, buy one get 20% reduced prices for the next one, next product you are going to buy. So these are the things. Or maybe publicity we can also discuss. If you have got favorable publicity in the market, people will be influenced, right? Maybe sometimes people are going to, the companies are going to do a lot of CSR activities. So it is also a kind of publicity, right? Maybe some events. So this may also greatly influence the buyer choice. And see the next one, and that is what? That is place. So the number of middlemen involved, type of channel, area, coverage, right? Because in place, what we do, we try to make our product or services available from our end, from the company and to the final customer. So what kind of middlemen are involved? What type of channel you have chosen? And what is the area coverage of that particular channel, right? So all these things are going to influence buyer decision making, right? Maybe if your product is available on internet, on these shopping sites like Amazon and Flipkart, e-commerce sites, so it will be very easy for the customer to browse your product, to get to know what are the various features in this product, and maybe the most valuable things which they are going to look at, that are the reviews. So they may get all the information on these websites, and it will make their decision making very fast. As we know that people love to buy the products mostly online. They are shifting physically. They don't want to go in the market, right? They just want to buy online because they don't have time, right? See, so these were the various factors. Now see what are the buying roles, right? The people are going to play. The customer is going to play. For making strategic decisions, marketers have to identify the buyers who make the final buying decisions. That means the people who are involved in buying, you need to identify them well. So the first element in this or category, you can say, that is influencer. Several people may be involved in a particular purchase decision, but all of them may not be consumers. A person who has influence, whose views or advice is given weightage while taking the final decision. So there are so many people maybe in a family, but each and everybody will, or maybe not, he is involved in buying a particular product or service, right? So you have to identify who is the influencer. See the next one, and that is what? Gatekeepers. Who are these people? Family members who control the flow of information about a product or service into the family. So there are certain number of people who are going to control what will be the flow of information. That means from where to collect the information for buying various products and services. So these people come under gatekeepers, maybe the parents, maybe the children, right? So these people will be known as gatekeepers. Now see the initiator. It's very important element. The person who is the first to suggest or think of an idea of purchasing a product or service. That means this is a person who is going to first feel that we need to have this particular product, right? He is going to just have a feeling of self-deprivation, right? So he is going to initiate. The next category in buying role is decider. Decider is the person who finally takes the decision of whether to buy, what to buy, how to buy, and from where to buy, right? The next category is buyer, right? So the person who actually buys the product, service after making payment, right? Actually, who is going to buy or who is going to pay for that particular product or service? He is known as buyer. And then we are going to discuss user, the person who actually uses or consumes the product or service. Maybe we can say consumer, right? So these are the 6 buying role in case of buying any product or service. Now we see a beautiful model of consumer behavior. So there are some stimuli. The first one is marketing stimuli, in which our 4 P's are there: product, price, place, and promotion, right? Other stimuli, that is economic, technological, political, and cultural factors, right? Which we discuss in our business environment class. These are the macro factors. These are also going to influence buying behavior, right? As we have just learned that marketing factors are also going to play a great role. So they are also going to create some sort of stimulus. Now see the buyer characteristics. How they will be influenced by cultural, social values, personal factors, and psychological factors. And then what will be the buyer's decision process? That means how a buyer is going to take decision. What are the various stages through which he is going to pass? So see the first one, problem recognition. This is the first stage in which the buyer is going to initiate. He is going to feel that we need to have this problem, and for that we need to have product or service. And then he goes for information search. So once he is able to identify, then he goes to collect a lot of information for that particular product. And then he is going to do evaluation of all these alternatives. Maybe one step is skipped over here, and that is what? Evaluation of alternatives, right? And then once he is able to evaluate them, then he is going to identify the best product or service, and then he is going to buy the product. And then further one step is there, and that is what? Post-purchase behavior. So this is very important, right? Because maybe the person has used the product, so what kind of feeling he has now in his mind? Maybe the product is very good. Maybe he is only satisfied, or maybe he is dissatisfied, right? So if the person is dissatisfied, he may be having the feeling of post purchase dissonance, in which he is going to think that had I bought that particular product, it would have been better. That means if he would have taken that decision to buy another product, it would have been better, right? So this may be the post purchase dissonance. Now see the buyer's decision. Buyer's decision comes in the way that is product choice. What kind of product he is going to have choice for them? What will be the brand? Who will be the dealer from where he is going to buy the product? What will be the purchase timing? Maybe Diwali, Holi, the festival, as we are going to approach in India. We are just going to have Diwali, so there will be a lot of purchases. People are going to buy so many things, consumer durables, right? So what will be the purchase timing, and what will be the purchase amount? That means how much money the customer is going to put in buying that particular product or service. So the consumer decision making process involves series of related and sequential stages of activities. The process begins with the recognition of an unsatisfied need or want that becomes a drive. Consumers begin search for information that gives rise to various alternatives. Finally, the purchase decision is made, and then the buyer evaluates the post-purchase behavior to know the level of satisfaction. So these are the probable steps through which a customer passes from, you can say, just identification of the problem, and that is known as problem recognition, till the post-purchase behavior, right? So we can summarize over here. There are 5 stages buying decision process. Again, we are going to discuss one by one in order to just have a quick recap. So the first one is need recognition. At this stage, the customer is going to identify the products or services need, that he or she actually has this need. So in order to satisfy the need, he or she is going to have some sort of product or service. And in order to purchase that product or service, since it is it is not very easy process, so depending on the product and service, he goes for a lot of information search. He searches information, maybe on the website, maybe he's going to ask to the friends, colleagues, parents, right? Maybe brother, sister, so many people, as we have just learned, who are the people who play a big role in buying roles. So he or she is going to collect a lot of information in order to get that particular product. And then he comes up with certain alternatives. After collecting the information, he or she is going to have certain number of alternatives in front of him or her, right? So then there comes another step, and that is what? Evaluation of all these alternatives. Now he or she is going to try to evaluate from his or her perspective, maybe what is the use, how much money he or she has, what is his or her brand preference, what kind of quality he or she is looking for, what are the priorities. So many things are there. Maybe we can take an example over here. If a person is senior citizen, maybe a lot of browsing is not, you can say, the first priority for that particular person, right? His priority, his or her priority, maybe to communicate, maybe the voice quality, maybe the connectivity, right? So there are so many things, right? People are going to evaluate the alternatives, and then after they come up with the best alternative, they are going to take a purchase decision. That means they are going to own the product or service. They are going to buy it, right? They are going to pay for it, and they are going to buy it. Then the next step is post-purchase decision. This step is very crucial for the companies, because this stage is going to decide whether the customer is going to buy their product further or not. Why? because post-purchase behavior is something in which the customer is going to use the product, and after that what kind of feeling he or she has. Maybe he or she is dissatisfied, maybe he or she is satisfied, and maybe he or she is highly satisfied. That means the stage of I can say going beyond the customer satisfaction. So they will become loyal. If they are getting whatever they expected, they are getting more. So they will not only be satisfied, but they will become loyal. They will be doing a lot of word of mouth marketing because they expected, you can say, something, but the company is offering more value for that particular product or service to the customer, right? So these are the various stages in buying decision making. So dear students, I hope that you must have liked the video. Thank you so much for watching the video.